Come on, man. Why every time I switch stories, I got the slow circle going?
Thornton Township Board meeting, a lawyer for the board is asking the state to allow them to hold remote meetings for the time being. Township Attorney Michael Delgado sent a letter this week to Illinois Governor Pritzker and Attorney
I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm just so confused. It's too many attorneys involved in this shit, and it's fucking confusing. I tried to figure it out like very early on when I first started looking in this shit, and I was looking at Delgado. Then they backed out because they weren't getting paid. Like, I would love to just see all of the representation agreements that every attorney has, so we can really get a clear understanding of what attorney is representing what person and in what particular role or capacity.
General Kwame Raoul this week to Illinois Governor Pritzker and Attorney General Kwame Raoul, asking them for a waiver of the Open Meetings Act that would allow the meetings to be held on Zoom. Delgado says the board believes that given the current political climate in the township, which is led by controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, it would be best that people meet remotely and not in person.
We are concerned not only for the safety of the public, but for reporters who attend, for the elected officials and staff themselves, that there would be a repeat of what occurred last Tuesday, which was a fight. To understate it, it was more than a fight, and it could have been a real catastrophe. And so we're asking for the governor to allow for remote meetings.
The board's attorney is asking for those remote meetings until May 19th, when a newly elected township board will be sworn in. So far, neither the governor nor the AG have responded to.
All right, real quick, I want to address some of these comments. I appreciate that, Pretty Eyes, for clarifying that. Okay, Delgado backed out of Dalton, but not the township. Thank you, co-counsel. I appreciate you. Let's see. Does the taxpayers pay for all of Tiffany's attorneys? As if generally what happens normally in a normal municipality, if the mayor has a lawsuit against another government entity and it's in their capacity as mayor, it's related to that government job, generally that attorney is going to be billed by the taxpayer. Now, if it's something in her personal capacity, no. But if it's something that arises if it's something that arises within the scope of their duty or questions surrounding their duties, it normally falls as litigation that's going to fall on the taxpayer's back. All right. I got the answer to this one. It says, big question I'm confused towards. There was a recall against Tiff that won but failed due to a technicality. So my question was, there never a corrected recall from the attorney that put together the faulty first recall, as his job was to do that. Mistakes happen, but a professional should correct that mistake. He was unable to correct that mistake, and we did a deep dive into that. Essentially, the court said no. The reason, I'm sure, had the court not said no, they would have redone it, separated the questions so that it would have been less complicated to meet the legal muster. But essentially, the court said nope. Y'all had one bite at the apple and y'all fucked it up. So now y'all got to deal with it. So the reason that it wasn't refiled was because the language in the opinion, essentially, the judge said no, y'all can't refile it because there was language based on court cases that allowed a recall to be done against a political appointed official within a certain time frame. And because of that time frame component, because it was already a recall was done and it was jacked up, to redo it would have put it outside of that time frame that the court had articulated in prior cases. So the judge was like, y'all just fucking stuck with her now. So that's kind of how that played out. Hey, I agree. And that would have been one of the smartest things for her to do. We talked about that. Shout out to you, Paul, for remembering that. Because I don't know if you all remember when Gonzalez and Carlisle weren't showing up. I recall exactly what you said, Paul. They wanted to do meetings virtually, and she said no. Had she not said no, literally, if you look at it in hindsight, she actually kind of jammed herself up. Because had she not said no, had she said yes, y'all could do meetings virtually, they would have had no real rationale for not showing up to meetings, even though they argue safety, which was, I think, a valid point. But she kind of kicked her own self in the ass on that note. Oh yeah, they building the bank. Yeah, Delgado is well entrenched in Illinois politics. Okay, they are well entrenched. Um, yeah. I went down a Delgado rabbit hole, and I was trying to see if it was enough there to do a video, the type of video I wanted to do, but it wasn't enough, and I was like, it could be borderline libel or slander, so I'm gonna pump my brakes on this one. But they are well entrenched in politics, yeah. But I agree. I think she kicked herself in the ass. She should have allowed Carmen to do things virtually. Then when they were missing the meetings, the argument would have been, well, I gave y'all permission to do them virtually, so it is what it is. That being said, the letter that was submitted to the Attorney General asking to waive the Open Meetings Act because of the violence and everything that Tiffany Henyard is doing, um, I think is a fair request. I don't know if it's an actual constitutional request. So that's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Okay, cool, nice. Oh. Hey man, the older I get, I bring back these throwback terms, man. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. It's too many people doing too many things. Well, let's check out what's going on here. This is interesting, and we probably should do a poll and figure out what is going to be Kamal's next job. Let's check this part out. And I want to give a shout out to hold on. I borrowed this from AK Cole, I believe. Yeah, because they had it. If somebody got it already pieced up, I'm gonna just use it off their channel. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm too tired for that. I got a 9 to 5. I got a 9 to 7, really.
You do everything.
Right. Good evening, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. I just noticed that. Excuse me. Could you plug this in right there? Okay, yep, there you go. We thought we lost you for a second. Okay, we would like to call the Thornton Town Board of Trustee meeting for Thursday, February 26th to order, please.
February 26th.
4:18 p.m. Trustee Gonzalez.
Present.
Trustee Carlisle. Present. Trustee Wiedemann. Present.
Okay, we'll do the pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Yeah, motion to come back in.
I'll make a motion to resume the regular board meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Carlisle. Yes. Trustee Wiedemann.
Yes.
Supervisor President Gonzalez. Yes. Motion passed.
Right, so now we are on item 6, action coming out of closed session. Is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion to terminate effective immediately Kamal Woods.
Second.
Trustee Wiedemann,
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle,
Yes.
Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Is there another motion?
I would like to make a motion to terminate effective immediately William Moore.
Second.
Okay,
Can I ask a quick question? What the hell did William Moore do? What was his actual job that he was set to do? At least, I mean, Kamal, whether or not he actually did the job and or was qualified for it, got it. Youth program, which is wild. And you should absolutely be fired if, could you imagine if I worked the youth ministry at the church and I got involved in a fight in the pool pit? That's like the equivalent of what happened. You should absolutely, if you're in charge of the youth ministry, if you're in charge of the youth ministry and you engage in a fight that makes the news, I don't give a damn who you are. I don't give a damn who cheeks you clapping. You should 100% unequivocally be fired and terminated. But oh, he was Tiffany's assistant. Okay, he was Tiffany's assistant. I want. Do we know what his salary was? It probably was six figures because she gave people she fucked with good salaries. Yeah, she gave people she messed with damn good salaries. Let's see. Yeah, I know. It's a company who sold snowballs and made $1 million. Yeah, I don't know what he did. I actually tried to look it up, like, because I wanted to know what he did, and I was 100% confused as to what his actual role was.
Trustee Wiedemann,
Yes.
Trustee Carlisle,
Yes.
Supervisor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion passed.
I think we have item 7, adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting, or is there anybody have anything else to say?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Trustee Carlisle,
Yes.
All right, so they fired both of their asses, which I agree with was the right move, and then they got up out of there. That's funny. He was a he was a pro butt sniffer. That's one of the sayings you can't tell where Tiffany ends and he begins because his nose, so you got some brown stuff on your nose. That's actually hilarious. But I had no clue what he did. I tried to look it up and figure out what the hell his job was, and I was very unsuccessful in doing so. But I think 100% both of those persons should have been terminated, especially the person in charge of the youth ministry. You're in charge of the youth ministry. Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, so I think 100% both persons should have been terminated. I don't know, and I'm not sure what Kamal did before that, but I'm going to guess that this job he had making six figures was probably the highest paying job that he has ever had. Now, I saw somebody in the comments say his next job is going to be to find a new super mayor to give him another job. I think that ship has sailed. I'm not saying he's a I'm not saying he's a, y'all familiar with the phrase hobosexual, like a guy who like sleeps with women to secure his housing. I'm not saying he's a hobosexual, but it kind of falls in that vein of, hey, someone has to be able to do something for me. Or for all we know, he could have potentially had a no-show job where he didn't have to do much, which is a possibility. And in exchange for that salary, he paid some form of kickback. That's actually a common thing that's done amongst politicians. That's a goddamn shame. You got somebody who's selling drugs to the kids in charge of the kids. God damn. This is, yeah. Moore was a housing director in Dalton before he got fired. Okay. Well, at least he held some type of government job. Like, say what you want about Keith Price, at least he has governmental experience. So making him the food pantry program manager. If I look at his track record, I'm like, what he's doing is consistent with the type of working, in the government sector. So that's interesting. I did have one other video that I saw that was quite interesting, and it's weird. Like I don't know how to do this. If content creator A makes a video, but then I view it from content creator B reacting to that video, do I go to the original source or do I don't know. It's kind of confusing. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up real quick. I thought this was interesting as let me see real quick. Let's see. Yeah, he fucked. He screwed. Oh, really? Interesting. Well, if they were business owners, interesting. That's interesting. Now that's a whole nother set of legal questions. Because if they were business owners, they're technically still married. It appears he has no nexus with this business. His employment or income is tied to this job that he was given from engaging in a cheek clapping situation. I'm going to assume wife is handling the business and the business is probably still thriving. That's an interesting question now that hey, when you marry and you start a business together and when you get separated, how that business is divided up is a really, really big issue. Let us pray. Okay, his wife is a lady that said people were in those chairs with wheels. Two Will Williams, let us pray. Okay, tracking. What's going on? I appreciate you tuning in. Let's see. Okay. I was like, who the fuck do I go to? I was trying to. He was selling clothing. God damn. He was selling clothing and drugs. Allegedly. That's crazy. Oh, he was in charge of the housing program and the houses. God damn, this just keep getting worse and worse. The more questions I ask, the worse it go. Ah, interesting. Is that that's interesting. Leticia, let me know if you got a link to that story. That would be interesting. That's interesting. Hey, okay, Nation Clothing. Ah, interesting. Wow, that'd be crazy. And he hot out of business car wash that him and Tiff live on top of now. Okay.